Ukrainian forces successfully eliminated 4 Russian Pantsir-S1 air defense systems using the Darts 429 loitering munitions. The strikes were carried out by the Achilles unit as part of the 92nd Assault Brigade in Kharkiv and Belgorod region. According to the report, some of the drones were purchased as part of the Hit the Bullseye training camp, which lasted until October 8, 2024. The video footage reveals that the drone operators aimed at the combat module and radar to inflict maximum damage. All 4 systems were hit while on combat duty, as indicated by the operational radar on board the vehicles. Although only one segment of the video clearly shows the impact, it appears that the strike caused the anti-aircraft system to spontaneously activate, suggesting that the drone hit a critical component of the Pantsir-S1. Darts are aircraft-type kamikaze drones developed by a Ukrainian manufacturer using components from FPV drones. With speeds of up to 160 kilometers per hour and a 4-kilogram warhead, they have a wingspan of 1.9 meters and a 1.5-meter long fuselage. The drones have a flight range of 40 to 60 kilometers, depending on the payload. In January, operators of naval strike drones also successfully targeted a Pantsir-S1 system in the Kherson region, with the possibility of critical damage or destruction due to fire. It is unlikely that a strike by an FPV drone would have resulted in the instant destruction of the system. However, this does not rule out the possibility of critical damage and a loss due to fire. The FPV drones were likely delivered to the target via unmanned drone carriers, the existence of which was revealed in December 2024. The first public demonstration of this modification of Ukrainian naval drones occurred during an attack on enemy-captured gas platforms in the Black Sea. Ukraine's defense industry has increased the range of the Neptune cruise missile. The missile is capable of striking at a distance of 1,000 kilometers. This was announced by President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. Long Neptune has already been tested and successfully used in combat with precise strikes. Today, we also had reports on our missile program. We have significant results. A new Ukrainian missile, an accurate strike. The range is 1,000 kilometers. I thank our Ukrainian developers, manufacturers, and military, Zelensky said. Ukrainian cruise missiles of the Neptune complex have long been used by the defense forces to strike important targets. In 2024, these cruise missiles hit ammunition depots both in the temporarily occupied territory and in Russia. In addition, the oil depots of the aggressor country were also hit by them. At the same time, there is almost no official confirmation of the use of these missiles. Only from time to time do the press services or anonymous sources in the Ukrainian military and intelligence services report such strikes. In November last year, it became known that the Ukrainian defense industry had produced more than 100 missile weapons in 2024. The adaptation of the Neptune anti-ship missile to hit ground targets was first reported in April 2023. At that time, a representative of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry said that designers had been working on modifying the missile to hit ground targets. The Long Neptune can be launched from the same launcher as the previous anti-ship version of this cruise missile, the R-360 Neptune. The missile also received a new guidance system. A satellite positioning system was installed to control the flight's marching section. And on the final part of the flight, guidance is carried out using an infrared homing system. Russian FSB is recruiting Ukrainians to carry out explosions near the military enlistment offices and arson attacks on military vehicles. Often they recruit teenagers and minors who, due to their lack of critical thinking and desire for easy money, agree to such work. According to Security Service of Ukraine's spokesman, Artem Dektyarenko, minors are more vulnerable to recruitment because they cannot realize and calculate the consequences of their actions, which is what the Russian special services put a focus on.
Чтобы потом мы это видео смонтировали и выложили его в СМИ, чтобы гневные граждане ебут ТЦК. Это делается для того, чтобы создать дестабилизацию внутри страны и привить негативный настрой по отношению к власти у людей, у народа. Поэтому что там сгорит, вообще что там сгорит. Самое главное, что люди подумают. А если на ней символик, то люди подумают то, что надо.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio There was what we felt was a very positive and productive engagement yesterday with President Putin and Special Envoy Witkoff. We'll examine the Russian position more closely, and the President will then determine what the next steps are. Suffice it to say, I think there is reason to be cautiously optimistic.
The other announcement, and I think that's already reflected in the President's statements, there was what we felt was a very positive and productive engagement yesterday with President Putin and Special Envoy Witkoff. We'll examine the Russian position more closely and determine, the President will then determine what the next steps are. Suffice it to say, I think there is reason to be cautiously optimistic, but by the same token, we continue to recognize this is a difficult and complex situation. It will not be easy, it will not be simple, but we certainly feel like we're at least some steps closer to ending this war and bringing peace, but it's still a long journey. It's a journey of many steps. But this is positive momentum.
Donald Trump's special envoy, often called his fixer, was made to wait 8 hours to meet the Russian president and left Moscow a few hours later, seemingly as soon as the talks ended. Steve Witkoff didn't stay long in the Russian capital. According to footage posted of his motorcade leaving and returning to Moscow's Vnukovo airport, he was here for little more than 12 hours. And for most of that, it seems, he was left waiting. His visit had been scheduled near the start of the week, following the US-Ukraine talks in Saudi Arabia. But after arriving around lunchtime on Thursday, he was left twiddling his thumbs for at least 8 hours before being called into the Kremlin. Mr. Putin was apparently too busy meeting someone else, Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, for a hastily arranged state visit that had been announced the day before. We don't know for sure if the timing of Mr. Lukashenko's visit was deliberate, but it certainly didn't feel like a coincidence. Instead, it felt like a classic Putin power play. The Kremlin leader doesn't like to be backed into a corner and told what to do, especially on his own turf. This felt like a message to the Americans. I'm the boss, I set the schedule, and I'm not beholden to anyone. He did eventually grant Mr. Witkoff that all-important FaceTime once night had fallen and behind closed doors. Trump is spreading fake news again. He confirms that Witkoff was made to wait for 9 hours, but in the same time, he is accusing the media for fake news. The fake news, as usual, is at it again. Why can't they be honest just for once? Last night, I read that President Vladimir Putin of Russia kept my highly respected ambassador and special envoy, Steve Witkoff, waiting for over 9 hours when, in fact, there was no wait whatsoever. Other meetings with other representatives of Russia did take place, and obviously they took some time, but they were very productive. From there, things went quickly and efficiently, and all signs seemed to be hopefully very good. In conclusion, there was no 9-hour wait or any wait at all. The only reason they made up that story is to try and demean, because they are sick degenerates that have to start reporting the news correctly. This is why they have lost their ratings, their audience, and respect. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and God bless America.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.